Hello, my name is David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. I have a balanced rack. I have the J and the H for score. I do not have a bingo. Hadge is a good short word which would leave a rack leave of EEPT. I've also got Jeet on my rack and Jet. I'd like to retain only one of J, H and P. Now Ava takes a J in front, so I could play Jeet at H5 down. That does leave PH. PH does have synergy, but it would still be my preference to play one of them if I can. And I don't think I can do that utilising... well, what about Jeep? Yes, I was hoping to retain one of the E's, but actually Hat is quite a nice leave. 40 points, wow, that's a lot. And I can't see any better plays. It's a disappointing pickup, only one vowel, which is the vowel I kept. Fratch is good, I think. So I've got the CH, which is quite synergetic, so I ought to be able to play my way through this. Now my A doesn't go in front of the P of Jeep, so I can't play in column 4, and there are very few other places to play. ED does take an H after it, but I don't have a word with VH in it. Now I could play Batch across here and see what that scores and leaves. Well, the rack leave of FLR is not great, but it's not disastrous either. Provided I pick one or more vowels, I won't be in trouble. 20 points. Well, on this board, that's not bad. But am I missing something? I'm not 100% sure of Flatch. If I was, it might be worth consider playing that in column 8 or row G. Latch is good. Certainly takes a C in front, but does it also take an F and a K and an S? Or is it just a C and an S? I'm not sure. And this could be expensive. The difference between a rack leave of FLR and a rack leave of AR is likely to be significant. But I'm not going to risk playing a phony. Well, I don't draw the vowels that I needed, and my rack is deteriorating. I do have a U which can go in front of the P of Jeep, so I could play FUD in column 4 and that stays available. Now my opponent plays off the Q. I do have a U, but I don't have another vowel to reach the double letter square. So I'm now focusing in column 4 parallel to Jeep. I can play Fleur. Is that good? FLUR. Not 100% sure. So what else do I have in that column? I could have a word beginning FRU or FLU. Or KLU or KRU. Let's see what lurk scores. I'd much rather have 3 consonants than 4, hence my preference for this over FUD. 23 points is not terrible. Now there may be a better play here. I wonder what furl scores. 24 points. I think I prefer that. The K is a better scoring tile than the F, but not by much. Great to have a couple of vowels. I'm not close to a bingo, but I should be able to score okay, or resolve the rack. There aren't many scoring opportunities on this board. I'm looking to see if I can play parallel to furl. Well, I can, but not... Well, I could play teak. Between 25 and 30 points. Wow, that's a great play by my opponent. 74 points for goal post. So what can I do? I can play catty at K8 down. 39 points, that's pretty good. And the rack leave is good. Now note also that I've got the Y for going underneath the second O of gold post. But I can't see a good way of using that. And that's a pretty poor rack. 3 Ds and 2 Rs. I have a slight doubt about catty. Let's see if it stays on. If it does, I'm going to struggle to score. Well, I've got added at L8 across, but that leaves a duplicate R, and I'd rather resolve all of my duplicates. Rag D is good. So I could play that in column 1, but that would leave a duplicate R. Sorry, a duplicate D, and I do not want to do that. Dredger. Nope, I only have 1 E. That's a shame. So I'm looking to play 2 Ds and an R. Add Dread is playable at L8 across, AD, RED, and also Ared, AREDD. Only 14 points, but it does resolve the rack. I'm wondering if I can play from J2 down with the D on the triple letter square. Not only will that score a bit more than 14 points, it will also stop my opponent from using that spot. Because if he can place an X or a Z on that and play down to the double word square at N2, he could get a 70-point play. At the moment I am 8 points behind. I'm a little surprised. I thought after goalpost I might be further behind. I guess Catty was a good score. Ready is good, R-E-D-D-Y, that's playable at 04. But again, not much score. I haven't seen anything in column 2 through the O of goalpost. Dodder would be good if the O was higher up. Now my opponent drew 7 tiles last go, so he could have drawn a blank and maybe looking for a back-to-back bingo. That would certainly place him in a strong position, because with my rack as it is, I'm a long way away from a bingo and I'm not going to be able to score well. But hopefully I can resolve the rack. And by that I mean take a decent rack leave into next go, which will maximise my chances of having a bingo. Ared and Adred are both quite open. Ared is slightly better because it doesn't place a vowel next to a premium square. But both of them provide several good floaters. Redry is good. Okay, that doesn't help me because it only uses one of my 3 Ds. I can't see any plays going through the K of Catty. Well, my opponent has spent a while on this move. I wonder if he is close to a bingo. We'll find out later. I'm looking to see if there are any other opportunities on the board. I don't have... well, I have the E to go in front of the H of batch. Great, my opponent only scores 24 points. He didn't have a monster play that he was about to unleash on me. Redo is playable at J2, and that doesn't reach down to the double word square. So I don't think I've seen anything better than Ared. I suspect there may well be, though. The score on this is so low, I think it's likely that there is a better play. 14 points. I have Vontred, and Avontred is also good. Not sure that either of them plays. I blocked Avontred by playing Ared. That is often the way it goes. So assuming neither is playable, I'm looking now at column 2 at J2 to see if I can place my V on the triple letter square, but that opportunity goes away. I'm now nearly 60 points behind, so my opponent has certainly got the upper hand. My low score for a red has put me in a poor position. Now I could play Nerved at G11 down. It's not great, doesn't score a great deal, and it places a vowel next to the double letter square at H12, which is providing an easy opportunity for my opponent to score. So I'd like to do better than that. I'm looking at the triple letter squares in column 10, close to the E of a red, to see if I can hit both of them, particularly if I can get my V on one of them. Can't see a way of doing that. Well, this is a tricky rack, and it's been quite a tricky game. Now, I could play Derv at K 10 down. Only 16 points. That would be 2 successive moves of under 20 points, which is not good. And the rack leave of EENT isn't great when you look at the bottom of the screen and see how many E's and how many N's are left. But I don't wish to block the board up. I'm thinking about playing Vendor at I 11 down. 20 points, but that V and the lack of a hook for a red really scuppers the bottom right of the board, and it scuppers row I as a bingo lane. I'd like to keep the bingo lanes open, and I note that the whole of the top left of the screen, or of the board rather, is wholly inaccessible. Now, how about this for a play? Rent is a much better rack leave than Teen. Scores 16 points, which is not far off Vended, and it keeps all of the floaters in a red and the bingo lane row I open. It doesn't provide any great spots for my opponent, and it also takes out a spot. My opponent could have played Ox and Ox for a big score. This looks promising. What do I have? Runtier. Runtier plays in row I, making R at I8. Great. I don't think Runtier has any anagrams. So, do I have a bingo through any of the floaters? And I've got the floating Q, which I need to consider given I've got a U. Great. Runtier and R are not blocked. But I do need to think whether I've got a better play. Do I have a bingo beginning with the Y of Catty? No, I don't. Can't see anything through the Q. Then the other possibilities are the H of Batch. Can't see anything through that. And then there's the S of Yeens. Okay, well, I can't see anything through that. So, I'm grateful that Runtier is available. This does provide an easy opportunity for my opponent to score in row H across to the triple word square. But I'm still glad that I can score 61 points. Great, and I draw the first blank. The rest of my rack leave is pretty awful. I can play Q at D8 to get rid of my duplicate U's, although that also burns off both E's and leaves a rack leave of CG blank, which isn't great. I would have had Grex if one of my U's had been an S. I don't want to dismiss too quickly the possibility of a bingo with this rack, given how flexible the blank is, but I don't think there is one. Okay. Well, that's good. My opponent hasn't taken the hot row H. Unfortunately, my rack is so bad that I'm unable to use that. Unless I played Gu at H12, but then that doesn't reach across to the triple square. I could play Gurus at G14 down, but there's just no score there at all. Now I note that there's a useful floater in the second T of Catty. So how do I resolve this rack? The U's are no longer any good with the Q because the Q's been obstructed. The U's are really hampering my bingo prospects. So actually Guru's has merit. It stops or inhibits my opponent from utilising the hot lane H. It does provide a bingo lane in column 15. It certainly sorts my rack out. And, well, I was hoping that I would have a bingo now through the T of Catty and my opponent would be distracted by the triple word square at H15. That's not a great picking up 2 eyes. But look at the bottom of the screen, there's still 5 of them unseen, so we're a fair old number in the bag. There is a bingo lane in row N for a bingo beginning VIT. There are quite a few VITty words. But I can't see one. I haven't quite got the letters for vitrices. Can't see anything through the Y. Do I have anything beginning with the T? Can't see it. Now my opponent is 27 points ahead, which is a really good position for him to be in. Because with a tight board, he just needs to keep scoring and closing down bingo lanes. And since at the moment there are only 2 sensible bingo lanes in row N and column 15, he can just take one of those out. So how can I open another lane? Well, the obvious way of doing that is to play down column 10. I could play R-E-I. Yeah, 21 points, and my opponent burns the S. There is a bingo through the T. Unfortunately, it doesn't begin with the T. It's Ceresite. And there isn't an S available. I've got 7 minutes on the clock. There are 20 tiles in the bag. I am 48 points behind. Now, the move I'm thinking about is this. And what's bad about this is that it doesn't score very much. It provides an exceptionally easy opportunity for my opponent to score well. And if he does, then if I then bingo in row N, it may well not be enough. So, what's better than Rye for 14? Batch doesn't take anything at the end. Go takes an E in front of it. Oh, that's pretty good. There's a 7-letter bingo lane for a word ending in E in column 13. So, can I play ice or ire somewhere else? I've got 6 minutes left. Wow. Can't see a great spot. I'd really like to open the top left of the board up. Now maybe if I do play REI, there's a possibility that my opponent will play from A8 across, therefore opening up a bingo lane in row B. I think I'm very unlikely to win this game, but I think this is my best possibility. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think I have Tellurgic. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, so I don't see a bingo. Well, I have Tellurgic in row A, I just don't have it in row N. Do I have a bingo for column 13 ending in an E? The C and the G really don't go well together. Okay, I can't see any 7-letter bingos on my rack. Okay, I must remember Tellurgic in case row A isn't blocked, but I'm sure it will be. So what can I do to open up the top left of the board? It's really tricky. I guess if I played Lurk instead of Thurl, then column 3 would have been available for bingos ending in S. That's a long way back. There are so few bingo lanes on this board, and most of the scoring opportunities involve obstructing those lanes, so it's very tricky to play through this rack. But one must still try to do the winningest, or make the winningest plays one can. Can't see anything through the T of Catty. I do have the ing ending, but what's left isn't great. Celt. And I can't see anything beginning with the Y. Do I have anything beginning VIT or VET? No, can't see anything. 17 tiles in the bag. Quite a lot of duplicates there, including 2 Ws. Great. My opponent has not scored very much, and he's opened up the top left of the board, which is what I was hoping he would do. He has obstructed column 13. Okay, well if column 13's obstructed, I can play in row E. There's only one I left, but I can play Sig across here. There's no L's or T's left, so I'm not going to duplicate those. I don't mind having exactly 2 E's. So this is a pretty good rack leave. This scores 19 points, so I'll be on 255. I'll only be 40 odd points behind, and I have a good chance of a bingo in row B or in row N. Let's see what happens. Okay, not good. I do draw the final E, but I also draw 2 O's. I don't think toe hole is good. Well, in any event, L doesn't take an E at the end. I nearly have slow tree again. So, is there anything here? Great, hardly any points for my opponent, so 1 bingo could well be enough. There are 7 tiles in the bag. I've got 4 minutes on my clock. My opponent's taken out one of the bingo lanes. Is there anything I can do to open a second one? And I need to consider if I have a bingo in row O, beginning with the Y. Can't see one. Now, there's only 3 I's and an O left. I could still do with playing off 1 O. Or both O's. I need to retain 2 vowels. I certainly need to retain an O because of the hook for the L of Lierne. So I wonder if I play Lote down here. Is that going to tempt my opponent to play at A15, which is what I'd like to do? I think I can do better than that. Quite like the T. What about OLE. Maybe will be even more attractive for my opponent. Only 5 points. Am I sure I can't open a bingo lane somewhere? I don't think I can. Now, this doesn't feel good, only 5 points. Because my opponent could have a big Z play at the top right. I don't want to make it that easy. I probably don't need to. No L's left. There's lots of W's and F's, so what if I just play OE somewhere? Gosh, this is tricky. If I play OE across here, there's a little bit of temptation for my opponent. Wow, look at that. Okay, so what do I have? This is a great rack, but do I have something in row B? Very hard with 2 blanks, only a minute on the clock. Electro, I have Electro at B1 across, great. Now my opponent ought to be blocking that, but maybe, yes, he hasn't blocked it, fabulous. Now, do I have a play beginning at B2? I'd like a play beginning at B2, and that would end O something. Either OT or OS. I don't think I've got time to look for that. I've only got a minute left on the clock. I'm glad I've got a bingo, but this probably won't be enough. 66 points. Well, the most dangerous tile was in the bag. And I now have a 11 point lead. Moz is good. Does that play anywhere? And Zoom is also good. And Moz. So anywhere, any really good spot for my Z. When my opponent plays, and he hasn't got a good rack, you can see what he's got. I have very little time to make my move. Cos is good. I could play Cos at B4 down. What else is there? ZO and WO is playable at B13. 32 points, that's good. What else? Can't see anything in the bottom right of the screen. Okay, so ZO I think is my preferred play, and if that's blocked I've got Cos, and because those plays are far apart on the board they can't both be blocked. I hope I'm not missing a play of Moz somewhere. Don't think I am. Yeah, I've looked at all the letters in Electro. I can't see any 4-letter play where I can go out. I'm not sure if my opponent can go out in 2. I'm not going to look for opportunities for him to do that. I have so little time. I'm simply looking for the best play with my rack. And I think I have spotted the only two decent plays, but there could so easily be another. When my opponent does play, I'm going to quickly check and see if he can go out in one. I've got Zoe and Ads at M12. Oh, that's pretty good actually. 35 points. That's 3 more points than Zoe and Woe. Excellent. Gosh, those 3 points could be the difference between winning and losing. My opponent has now got 3 minutes left on the clock. Okay, well I've got Zoe and Woe and Zoe and Ads. I'll have a look and see what my opponent's rack leave is after his go. Because I don't want to play Zoe and Ads for 3 more points and then give him a really big score. He's got wins, so if I play Zoe here, wins. Yeah, I'm going to play that. I think if I played up top, he could have played Zin. Now he can't take advantage of the O. But I think he's going to go out. I think he is. But where can I play my M for maximum points? I've only got 16 seconds left. I can play M at C, B3 for 8 points. H12 for 7. Anything better? Nine points at H13. Suin, 360, 360. I'm going to have to challenge that because if I don't, he wins. And it's fine. Well, that was a great finish by my opponent, finding the outs of the outplay of Neif and Suin with a pretty grim rack. And the final score, 355 to me, 366 to my opponent, a winning margin of 11 points. Let's see what I missed. Catty was a phony, so I was certainly fortunate to get away with that. And here, Jape. Ah, well, Jape instead of Jeep. Yeah, a rack leave of EHT is better than HAT, slightly. And Fratch was good with an R for 24 points, so that would have been better than Batch. And this is where I played Thurl. And, well, Thurl and Lurk, difficult to choose between them. This was my phony, and I could have played KO'd at J2. Oh, very nice. 48 points through the first O of goalpost. This was an awful rack, and... well, I could have played Retrod for 26, keeping 2 Ds. Instead I played a red for 14. Probably not a great deal between these. And Deeve and Vended were playable, and I played Dove for 16, so I took a slight hit on the score, but a much improved rack leave. And that was rewarded with a bingo, Runtier being the only one. This was an awful rack, and I don't like any of the choices that are available there, well, it's because they all retain a U, and Gurus scored a little bit less, but ditched both of the U's. And there wasn't a bingo here, and this is where I played REI for 14, and yeah, none of the other plays really opened the board up. Great no-miss bingos here, and the recommended move of Clegg, or the top move of Clegg, does obstruct. Actually, it doesn't obstruct column 13 because Leon's already done that job. This is where I played Sig, and I think Sig is better than Clegg because it retains the E. Great, nothing missed here. Olio at M12 and do. Yeah, an interesting possibility. What did I do? I played OE for 4. I like Olio because it gives an easy opportunity for my opponent to score in the bottom right, leaving row B for me. This is where I played Electro at B1, but I could have had Overlit, Refloat, Elytron, Floriat and Realot at B2, which all of which would have been better. Now, what was best here? M12 Zedo, that was my play. B13 Zedo, that was the alternative. Cos. Now, if I'd played Cos at B4, the question is, could my opponent go out? He's got wins. Can he go out with wins? Now, if he can't, then Cos might be a winning play, because I can certainly play off my M in various places. So I don't have time to check now, but Cos may have been a winning play at the end of that game. So that was a tricky game. There were a lot of tough racks where I was a long way away from the bingo and struggled to score well. But I hope the process of talking through those racks has assisted you when you're faced with those racks, because they do happen a lot of the time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.